What up, Screen Fiends? I'm GB, and you're tuned in to Headz TV, Walker Wednesdays, where we like to discuss all the wonderful things in the world of The Walking Dead. So today we're going to discuss Fear the Walking Dead mostly, and my hopes for the show, my worries for the show, because if you've watched any of my other videos, I'm not liking it as much as I should be. I'm not liking it as much as I want to. And I'm overall disappointed in the show. I'm not saying it's a terrible show. It's not terrible, but it's really not that good either. There are some good things in it. There's a lot of good casting. There are some good scenes and some things that are pretty well written, but for the most part, it misses on most marks and it falls flat a lot, and it feels very, very network, very NBC, CBS. You know the drill, and that's a bad thing in my book. All right, let's just talk about my worries. The problems that I've had with Fear is, mostly in the writing and the directing, which all really falls to me under the showrunner. If you have a good showrunner like Scott Gimple that oversees everything and has input, and good input at that, and understands the source material and the world that The Walking Dead takes place in, that trickles down. So when you have that good showrunner, the writers are better because of it. Not always perfect. Even on The Walking Dead, sometimes the writing is a little weak. Especially season 7, honestly. And also the directors. So if you have a good showrunner who's on top of things, he's making sure he's getting the right directors on the right episodes with the right sequence of events going on, and making sure the director understands everything. And I'm not sure if the current showrunner of Fear, his name escapes me right now, is the right showrunner for it. So, that's my biggest fear for it, is them not having the proper showrunner. Now, Scott Gimple was just signed on to be the showrunner of Fear season 4, and I'm pretty sure that they said it won't interfere with him being the showrunner of the regular Walking Dead. But I find that hard to believe, because it's got to be tough all year round working on The Walking Dead. That's got to be tough. And I'm not saying Gimple can't do it. I'm just saying. So let's just rewind a little bit to this kind of goes into my fear of the whole franchise. So let's just rewind a little bit to the season 7 of The Walking Dead. Now, it wasn't terrible, but it was slow. Some of the writing was bad. Some of the way the sequence of not that the sequence of events were bad, but the way they unfolded or the way they were handled just wasn't the right choices. And then you had the toned down violence thing. So I'm wondering if Scott Gimple was pulled off of season 7 to work on season 3 of Fear, and nobody was told about it. Because I can see that. And that's where the weak writing comes in, and the bad pacing, and the feelings of the worst parts of seasons 1, 2, and 3 were like all throughout season 7. Not that 1 was, no, I'm sorry, not 1, 2 and 3. I apologize. Walking Dead seasons 2 and 3 had a lot of problems. They were good seasons. I love every season in its own right. But those are the 2 seasons to me that have the biggest problems with them, is 2 and 3. And it just seems like season 7 had a lot of those same problems, which were mostly pacing problems. So I'm wondering if Scott Gimple wasn't there to oversee it, and somebody else was doing his job for him, so that he could try and make Fear a better show. Because the ratings aren't doing well, the fans aren't loving it like they wanted, and it's nowhere near their second flagship. You know what I mean? Like, they want that to be right under The Walking Dead or equal with The Walking Dead in terms of popularity and viewers, and it's just not. And it's not because people aren't into the idea and all that. It's because the way the show is executed is just poor. It's just poorly executed. So I think we'll see in season 3 whether or not I'm right. And I think if the season is slightly better than the other two, then I'm wrong. But if the season 3 is drastically better than seasons 1 and 2, I'm sorry, but I'm popping my collar, and I don't care what anybody tells me. It's because Scott Gimple was secretly behind the scenes, at least helping out with the show running duties of Fear this year. And I think maybe he was pulled off of Walking Dead to do it, season 7. And that's why some of the poor choices were made. That's what I'm sticking to until I'm contradicted or found wrong or proved wrong or whatever it is. Or unless somebody hits me in the comments with a better suggestion. So that's what I'm worried about for the future of the franchise. And then my biggest problems with Fear, the writing, the show running, the directing. That's it. Everything else I like, the special effects and the cast and some of the story beats I like a lot. But the way that they're handled in the long run and the pacing of the show is just... And then there's way too many errors where people obviously aren't paying attention. That all to me falls on the directing and the show running, where people aren't paying attention to little inconsistencies throughout scenes. It happens way too much. It's okay to happen once in a while. Every show, movie, whatever, has inconsistencies throughout or tiny plot holes or whatever. They're just everywhere, okay? You can't avoid them, but you can do your best to make sure that silly little things don't happen, like somebody breaking glass to open a car door, but not reaching in and opening it, still opening it from the outside. Whatever, that's a rant for another day. Now, let's move on to some positive stuff about Fear. I have high hopes for this season. Look, the preview for Walking Dead Fear, they usually only give us, for the first trailer, scenes from maybe the first 3-4 episodes, and usually not more than that. Maybe there are cases here and there where there's 1 or 2 scenes from like episode 5 or 6, but it's always the majority, the early episodes, 1, 2, 3. And what I'm seeing so far, I'm liking a lot. Now, yes, I believe the family's going to too conveniently get back together. But if it ends up getting them together to better the story and give me a better watching experience, I'm willing to suck it up with one last piece of bad writing and just have them all get together in the first 5 minutes of the first episode. I truly think that most of them are going to get together by the end of the first episode, which is a little convenient seeing as how they were so scattered out. But like I said, I'll be willing to forgive that. If it pays off in the storytelling. Some of the stuff that I'm seeing with like this militia and keep hearing about people killing this person and killing that person, I'm excited. But I was also excited for season 2 with the whole boat thing, and that was a wash. And we ended up spending almost all of season 2 in that little Mexican town, which most of it was boring as ever and terrible. And in that stupid hotel with so many ridiculously badly written scenes that it was hard to watch some weeks. I had to force myself some weeks. So I'm really hoping that they give us more interesting villains, better written dialogue, and just pay better attention to their filming and their directing and how they're telling the actors to play out the scenes and act out the scenes and say the lines and giving proper motive. Why didn't you guys tell me my hair looks so crazy? Come on. Chime in. Oh, wait, this ain't live stream. So, I just hope they correct that. The show running and the directing, which will trickle down to make better writing. Guaranteed. And then you'll end up with a better product, a better end product. But I really hope they don't do it at the cost of the regular Walking Dead. I feel like The Walking Dead is far superior to Fear. And not just because it's been around longer, and not just because it's gorier or bloodier or more violent, or not just because I like the cast better or because I love the source material. None of that. It's superior because the characters are just way more interesting. The villains, the good guys, everybody. It's just more interesting. The storylines are more interesting. Everything about it is better. So, if them taking Gimple off of The Walking Dead, which I think is a bad idea because the show has only improved since Gimple's been on. Save for season 7, which isn't terrible. It still has one of the best episodes ever in episode 1. But it's definitely the worst season since Gimple's been at the helm. And actually, I think it's the worst season overall, in my opinion. Which is weird because I love Negan so much, and I love the story that's going on so much, and I love that first episode so much. It's sad to say that about season 7, but you know, I'm hoping I'm wrong, and it was just the way the season had to play out, and we still get Gimple, and we get our Walking Dead back to true form. Because I feel like if they lose Gimple, yes, the chances of them getting another qualified showrunner are great. They could get one, sure, but they could also get a hack who's gonna rip the show to shreds. So I don't know. I think I'd rather keep Gimple on the regular show and find somebody else to run Fear, unless you can find a suitable replacement for The Walking Dead. But I have high hopes for Fear, even though I shouldn't. Season 1 was just okay. Season 2 was blah. And there were, like I said, some good things. I liked the things with Chris. I liked the things with Travis. But overall, and I love the character of Strand. He's very interesting and intriguing to me. And I want to like Madison and Alicia, but they're not written very well. And they're not directed very well. So it's hard to like them. So I have, like I said, I got high hopes. I see everyone is back from the previews. Ophelia. I think I even heard rumors of maybe Daniel returning. Which we all kind of suspected anyway, right? And Strand's there, and I see Travis. I see everybody, so I'm really, Nick and all that, and I'm really hoping that it turns out to be the best season of Fear yet. Fingers crossed. I will be reviewing it every week, and I know most of my reviews are pretty positive. That's because most of the shows I like are really good shows, at least in my opinion. So if Fear turns out to not be that great, I will still review it, but just be warned, the reviews may not be pleasant all the time. Alright, that's it for this one. Sound off down below. Let me know what you think about my video, everything I said here about Fear, The Walking Dead, Scott Gimple, any of the stuff that I talked about in this video. Yep, and that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Always appreciated. You guys have a fantastic night, and I will see you. I'm sorry, it's the daytime. You guys will have a fantastic day. And I will see you next time.